going to the writing group, I thought they were all really nice. I mean, they welcomed me in and they encouraged me to take part. I kept seeing them going into the village hall on a Thursday afternoon. I see them because I go to the post office on a Thursday afternoon to get my money, what with it being so busy in the morning. So I go after I've had my cheese and pickle sandwich and I've watched Doctors on the telly. So as I'm leaving the post office, I see them going into the village hall. I now know who they are, but I didn't at the time. I'm new to the village. I recognise one of them from the tea stall at the village fair, but I didn't know her name. I've lived in the village for 5 years. It takes a while to get to know people, don't it? Especially if you're a bit shy like me. Anyway, that were Caroline. She's the wife of the chairman of the parish council. I thought she were a bit snooty, but I think it's just the way she talks, she can't help that. Anyway, it were Caroline who helped me when I fell over the curb. I was a bit shaken. She said I should go into the village hall and have a sit down and a cup of tea as it was open for the writing group and she were about to put the kettle on. So I said that'd be nice. So I go in and she introduces me to the group. Malcolm, he's the vicar. Not of our village. He got passed over for someone else. Apparently he's resented it ever since. It's probably why he's so miserable all the time. He writes a lot of crime, murder and stuff. It's all a bit gruesome for me, but the others seem to like it. Caroline, she writes nice stories about village life. She says it's all made up. But I think the reoccurring character of Mrs. Plimsoll is in fact the vicar's wife. Malcolm don't see it, but nothing will convince me otherwise. It's a bit of a coincidence that she collects second-hand bras from people to send to Africa, drinks a lot of sherry. The youngest one who goes is Shirley. She thinks a lot of herself, always dressed up to the nines. Thinks that she can wear low-cut blouses still. She writes love stories. She's been divorced. 3 times she's been divorced. Not that I'm judging or nothing, but her stories are quite racy. Vicar always looks quite sharp, but I think he likes it, really. There's a few others that go. And there's a husband and wife that go. They're always criticising each other's writing. He writes a lot of spy stuff and she writes a lot of poems. They're always arguing and bickering. I don't know why they go to the writing group, really, because they don't seem to enjoy it much. Anyway, the first time I went was that week when I fell over. I went back the second week and I took some cake as a thank you. Well, I hadn't planned to stay, but they said I should try writing rather than sat listening to their stories. I should give it a go. So I happened to have some paper and a pen in my bag, so I did. I stayed. That was okay. So I went back the next week, and then I just kept going. Well, then one week, Lester, I haven't mentioned him before, Lester, he runs the group. He's very clever. He writes for magazines and stuff. He says there's a local competition, and if you get picked, you get to read your story out to a panel. Well, I thought there's no way I could do that, but he said you should give it a go. You might surprise yourself. So a couple of weeks later, I go back in, I read out my story. Well, they say you should always write about what you know, so I wrote about the writing group. It's funny how quickly people can turn. 1 minute they're as nice as pie, and the next minute they're quite unfriendly. I don't think I'm going to go anymore. I'm just going to do my writing at home from now on. Anyway, I hope you liked my story, and thank you for considering me for this competition.